is a book I've heard high praise from, but sort of on the periphery of my usual haunts until someone within my inner circle, the ineffable and lovely Tri-Rock Salt, pushed me to finally buy it and give it a read, and damn was it a good read. Six of Crows is a fantasy novel by Leigh Bardugo and can be placed squarely in the subgenre that I'm growing quite fond of, fantasy heist. If you've read Mistborn or The Lies of Locke Lamora, you'll be familiar with the setup. A group of scrappy, down-on-their-luck misfits band together to steal a great treasure. In Mistborn, it was the secret metal being hidden by the Lord Ruler. In Locke Lamora, the gentleman bastards robbed from the wealthy for their own gain. And in this book, it's to break a drug manufacturer out of prison and bring him back to the city of Ketterdam. The story is that a drug called Jurda Parem, which when imbibed by a Grisha, which is a type of witch, it makes their powers go turbo, Super Saiyan, fuck you mode, at the very high risk of killing them outright. The gangs in Ketterdam and the surrounding regions want this drug very, very badly. However, the manufacturer of the drug is currently being held in a nigh-impenetrable fortress called the Ice Court in the faraway country of Fjorda. Kaz Brekker is hired by the wealthy merchant Jan van Eck to break the scientist out of prison and bring him back to Ketterdam for the price of 30 million Kruga. Kaz agrees and assembles the scrappy band together, after breaking Matthias, the Fjordan witch hunter or Druskella, out of a high-security prison known as Hellgate. They are then ambushed by a rival gang known as the Dime Lions, led by Kaz's rival Pekka Rollins, on the night that they're supposed to steal a ship so they can get to Fjorda. They manage to survive the ambush and set out to sea. After some romantic pining, a grueling hike through the snow, and an encounter with a rogue Grisha who is high as fuck on Jurda Parem, they intercept a cart of prisoners heading to Ice Court and pass a very difficult deception check to take the place of 6 of them. Kaz, however, is happophobic, so constantly being touched by the other prisoners in the cart makes him lose consciousness, and we get a major lore dump detailing why he has such an aversion to being touched. It's heart-wrenching reading about how Kaz and his brother Geordie were betrayed by Pekka Rollins and left for dead as a plague swept through Ketterdam. Geordie did unfortunately die and Kaz survived. However, Kaz was mistaken for dead and was tossed onto a plague ship to be burned with the other dead bodies. He survived only by swimming to shore using his brother's corpse as a buoy. Something I forgot to add when I was recording this video initially is that all of this is why Kaz Brekker wears gloves and is rarely, if ever, seen without them. I'm not gonna lie, this section drove me to tears, and I'm not one who easily cries at media that I consume. My brain just isn't wired that way. It takes a lot for a book or a movie or a game to break me, and Leigh Bardugo managed to do it here. Kaz wakes up as they enter the Ice Court and set their plan into motion. Or at least that's what they try to do. The plan almost immediately collapses. Nina and Kaz go to search the cells, but Kaz gets distracted after seeing Pekka Rollins in one of the cells, and Nina alerts the guards, who manage to raise an alarm before she can deal with them. From there on out, it's all improv, baby. Unfortunately, I'm gonna tease you, as this is the most white-knuckled and action-packed part of the book, and I really want you to read it for yourself. But it involves a harrowing climb up an incinerator shaft, a holiday ball, a fuck-mothering tank rescue, and the best damn use of a rogue using a disguise kit I've ever seen. There are just about as many plot twists you can fit into a YA book without them being confusing at all. It's quite shocking. M. Night Shyamalan should take notes. The core strength of this book is the character writing. Each one of our 6 viewpoint characters are 3-dimensional and fully fleshed out beings, and I love every single one of them. Kaz Brekker is a man hardened by his past and the world. He's a criminal mastermind extraordinaire. Kaz has been dealt one of the cruelest hands life could have dealt. He is the epitome of, God let me live another day, and I'm going to make it everyone's problem. He's vicious, cunning, and absolutely takes no nonsense. Remember, the deal is the deal. I'm not entirely convinced this man has slept ever. When you think he's finally getting some rest, no, he's concocting another scheme. What exactly is his end goal? You're never quite sure. Inej Gaffa, also known as the Wraith, is the silent assassin and the backbone of this entire gang. Much like everyone else in this ragtag group of miscreants, she was also dealt a very cruel hand, having been kidnapped by slavers and sold to a brothel in Ketterdam at such a young age. Despite how fucked up her life has been, she's never lost herself. She's truly a good person underneath the rough exterior. Jesper Fahey is the sharpshooter and the bisexual disaster of the group. Unfortunately, despite his flamboyancy, he believes that he is his favorite failures. He's a gambling addict to the bone and often never thinks about the consequences of his own actions. Despite this, he's friendly enough and doesn't hold on to grudges for very long at all. The way he fidgets with his guns when he's anxious reminds me of myself, except I'm usually fidgeting with a spinner or a cube and not two big, glistening fuck-off revolvers. Nina Zenik is a magic user, or Grisha as they're known in this universe. She's specifically a heart-render, which means she can fuck with anybody's internal organs. That's terrifying. She's also shameless, very flirty, and is a true girl's girl. Her and Inej have such a tight friendship that I truly wouldn't be surprised if people ship them at all. Also, you're telling me this series has good plus-size representation? Well, it's about fucking time! I love Nina so much. Matthias Helvar is an expat from Fjorda and just spent a whole year in the high-security prison known as Hellgate. Who got him sent there in the first place? Why, Nina Zenik, of course. It's not every day you fall in love with the person that got you locked up in the worst prison on the planet, but shit happens. Matthias was the character I had the hardest time liking in this book. He starts off cold, standoffish, and needlessly brutal, and he doesn't really calm down until later in the book. He's kind of like a true Conan-style barbarian for a lot of it. And as of this recording, I have read Crooked Kingdom, the sequel to Six of Crows, and I like him a lot more in that book. Wylan Van Eck is the demolitions guy and is also the son of their patron Jan. He's also an absolute bumbling cinnamon roll. He is, hands down, the nicest, most innocent member of the Crows, despite technically being an insurance policy just in case Jan double-crosses them. Because of his privileged upbringing, he's not used to violence, but is willing to cause some chaos if needed. He's a skilled chemist as well, making him a very dangerous yet unassuming asset to the team. Wylan is also a dyslexic boy kisser. The two aren't related. Over the Ice Court job, Wylan develops a crush on Jesper, and that's where I want to move on to the book's biggest strength. Now, if you're already romantically pairing some of these characters together, you're correct, and you should be doing that. Everyone in this group gets paired up together. Kaz and Inej pine for each other so much, but will not let the tension ease. Nina and Matthias' relationship I can only describe as veritable fuckery. The sexual tension between them is electric. It is a truly well-written enemies to lovers arc. My favorite part about it is that anytime Matthias has any sort of intimate thoughts about Nina, he berates himself like he's a common whore, and Nina teases the ever-loving shit out of him. Jesper and Wylan don't officially become a couple until after the Ice Court job, but it's hinted at several times throughout the book, with Jesper becoming more flirtatious and playfully teasing Wylan due to Wylan's lack of worldly experience. Ah, young love. I mean, who couldn't fall in love with the person they almost died with, right? I absolutely love how the characters interact with each other, and on the whole, this has got to be one of the most inclusive books that I've read in a very long time. We have queer characters, disabled characters, characters with different body types, and they're all handled with such compassion and grace that more authors could learn a thing or two from. The writing overall is very light and beautiful. You don't get dense paragraphs of world building and an unnecessary background lore that is typical of other fantasy novels, which is not a knock against other fantasy novels. If you want an action-filled slugfest, this is the book for you. I know that one of the biggest criticisms of this book people have is that the characters don't act their age. Have y'all met seriously traumatized teenagers? Given the setting and the circumstances, it makes perfect sense that the Crows are very mature for their ages. Look at all the shit they went through. Kaz was betrayed, beaten, and watched his brother die at the hands of someone he thought was trustworthy. Inej was kidnapped and sold to a brothel. Both Nina and Matthias are child soldiers. Jesper is a self-loathing gambling addict, and Wylan is disabled, which caused his father to abuse and eventually abandon him altogether. Context clues, folks! Context clues! I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this book, and if you liked books like Mistborn or The Lies of Locke Lamora, then I'm absolutely certain you'll enjoy this book as well. Happy 10-year anniversary, Crows. Thank you guys so very much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, please consider subscribing. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.